I'm going to go back to the piano today. And there was another reason for working with a piano, and that was once I started doing the videos, I wanted to have the music that was mine. So I wouldn't have to do copyrights and all the, all those things. And I just thought, well, hey, I can do it. I can do it for the background and narrative. I can do it I can bring in sound effects. I can do all sorts of stuff because I have a degree from USC in film. Hey, I lived in Greta Garbo's old house. I mean, I know Hollywood. I know Los Angeles and I know filmmaking. So I thought, well, why can't I do this, with this desktop publishing now with the YouTube? And that was the point, to get a lot of material on YouTube that I couldn't do any other way. And yet, of course, I ran into problems because some people just didn't know how to get YouTube, and that didn't work either. Well, anyway, you try. So, back to the point. The point is that the music on the piano was mostly to be able to promote a visualization. And that visualization is kind of tricky because if you look at a painting, does it speak? Does it talk? No. But music does. Music is something that exists in a time frame, and it's very evocative. And I think if a picture is worth 1,000 words, I think a piece of music is worth millions of words. I think that's how deeply music can affect the listener. So as I started experimenting, one of the things I'm kind of making comparisons with painting. I'm gonna go into that a little bit later, but it's different from the visual arts in that, as I say, it exists in time. It's a performance art, and it really, I don't know. It's just the sounds imitate so many things in our experience. The painting isn't going to have sound, but if it's a very specific thing, such as you see the surf. I'm going to go to motion picture now. You see the surf washing onto the beach. We know that the wave, it comes in, it's rolling, and then it plunges, and up comes, the spray, and there's the sounds that go with that, and then as it approaches the shore on all these little rocks, it's going blah, 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 crazy. And you know those sounds. And so maybe while looking at that painting, that you're thinking of those sounds, but very possibly you aren't. And so this is the big difference between a visual image, and yet things are similar, such as patterns. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the visualization and how the patterns kind of work, because that's really important in terms of understanding improvisation, because you're trying to get a feeling. You're trying to get a feeling of, and I'll pick some topics, and we'll see how that works. Okay, so ready? Here we go. Horses, like I did in the video on horses. And so I had to think, what kind of movement would it be? So let's just try some things. See what I mean about patterns? You see how I'm making patterns. And this is how I'm seeing this. As a visual artist, I'm seeing patterns that I can make sounds with. I guess that's what you say. And if we were to gallop, we'll pick up the pace. Let's see how that works. I hope somebody rounds those horses up out of the corral because they have gone wild. But you can do things like that. Now, let's just change the scene for a minute. Let's do this. Let's go to the ocean. And let's see if we can get some sense, maybe inspired a little bit by Debussy, a sense of the calmness, the serenity, and yet the motion of the ocean. Let's try. That could work. I spend hours and hours just watching the waves up in Maine, perched up, sometimes high on the rocks, sometimes down on the rocks. And I just am fascinated by the constant change. And I think that's what I'm trying and liking in this improvisational situation, is that it doesn't have to be static. It doesn't have to be, okay, we did this melody, and now we're going to do the development, and then we're going to come back. This is going to be an ABA, which I do. I enjoy doing that too, but this is like the unexpected. You'll be sitting there, and the waves have been somewhat regular, but if you're a person that studies the ocean and studies the waves, that every fifth wave or every seventh wave or I don't know, whatever, is larger. And then there's always rogue waves, and you never know quite what's going to happen. There's the element of the unexpected. And I think that's what I like about the improvisational situation. Kind of see how it goes. We could spend the day here, bring a picnic lunch, and that's what I want somehow. That's Montague. Must be someone. We were just at the beach. We were on the rocks in Maine, in Acadia, and it was so wonderful to be there. And I don't know if you noticed the sunlight, glinting. You saw the light bouncing on the top of the waves. You saw, the change in, we're looking at where it dashes up on one rock. And of course, we could get really stormy. We can go through all sorts of sounds that would make you think of a storm. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go somewhere else. The house up there is surrounded by pretty much by woods. apple trees, and there's a little bit of grass that is just beautiful the way. Maybe I can put in a short video clip or something, but when the wind blows, it just, there are waves literally of grass. Beautiful. And that's very different from, just minutes away from Acadia National Park. But anyway, the point that I'm going to make here is there's a calmness in nature, and there can be a storm effect as well. So let's see what I can come up with. And just watch the patterns that I'm making with my hands, because that'll kind of tie into what I said at the beginning, that it is really kind of a pattern visualization. And nature has great patterns. I mean, even if it's wind, and the wind is, let's say with the palm trees, we have palm trees here, so I'm going to make a palm tree, and the wind is blowing, and there's kind of a repetition of how that palm can't go off and walk away, unless it's a hurricane, it gets blown over or whatever. Hopefully not. But there's a kind of the fronds can only go so far, and then they have to come back. And the same with the waves of the ocean, that as one crests and it falls, then comes up another one, and you repeat that process. And I try to do that in the music, so you'll see that, and there's a reassurance to that. There's a calmness, and it's a device that's used, in music all the time, but not necessarily in the way that I'm presenting it. And so there's going to be this tranquility in this piece that I'm going to play, hopefully. And I don't want to be too dramatic, but let's see. Well, there you have it. We're out on the side porch off the kitchen, and it's just a light breeze. Always get a nice breeze from the bay. And hey, could you ask for more? Now, let's do something just a little bit with some salsa and spice. was like a sequel to what I did yesterday as an introduction to, not being afraid of the piano biting and just kind of the freedom that you can have just enjoying the sounds of the piano. When I hear something, I would like to hear something that I've never heard before, or something that has a surprise in it. And I don't know, this improvisation lets you do that. And that's why I enjoy it so much. And I hope you enjoyed today. And I'd better wrap this up. And thank you so much for watching. And I hope you really get to do some of this on your own, because I think you'll really like it. Okay, bye for now.